Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle. This zombie dragon is happy to see you. It's just so creepy how it just follows the camera movement. Just back and forth, back and forth. You are a creepy zombie dragon. This is a vampire account and Empire versus Bretonia and Warriors of Chaos. Now I played these two players in a battle before this. We have Tatul and Heizen Mino. And unfortunately, the way I usually play this is I play one game a day and I rely on the autosave to do the replay. But I had a good game before this one, and I just wanted to play them again, so the autosave is overwritten by this game. And I will say, in the first game, I was trying Empire Outriders again, and I did lose to them pretty handily. It was still a fun game, though, and I wish I had actually saved the replay and not rely on the auto feature, or autosave, so I can show it to you, but we'll just have to do the Outriders again in the future. So for this one, I wanted to test out the Vampire Air Force. We have a generic Lord on a Zombie Dragon, two Vargeists, a Terrorgeist, and I have these bats to use kind of like zombies. Because, you know, going up against Bretonia, I was expecting maybe some more Pegasus Knights, and I wanted to see if maybe the Fell Bats could take the charge of the Knights, and then we can charge everything else in. So that's why they're here. They're basically just zombies. Speaking of, we have two groups of zombies. We have two groups of Graveguard with great weapons. We have 3 spears and 2 puppies. Because the puppies don't get enough love in the Vampire Count's army. My Empire player here has 2 halberds, a line of spears, 2 great cannons, a generic lord, a light wizard, 2 demigryph knights with halberds, a handgun, 2 great swords, another halberdier back here. Our enemy went for a mostly peasant army, which I can appreciate. We have a line of spears, 3 peasant bows, we have a line of man-at-arms behind them, 2 paladins, a trebuchet, we have 2 knights of the realm being led by King Lewin Leoncoeur. And for my Chaos enemy, we have an Exalted Hero on a Hell Beast. I still don't know the name of that. We also have Kolek Sun Eater, line of Chaos Warriors, 2 Chaos Marauders with throwing axes, which you don't usually see these units brought, and then 2 Chaos Knights, as well as a group of armored Chaos Trolls. This is kind of a long battle, so I'm going to try and show it all probably with one go. The battles are pretty close to each other. So not seeing any Pegasus Knights to fight against, I decided that I'm going to try and focus on this Exalted Hero because it's the only other flying unit, and we have the flying advantage with the Terrorgeist, the Zombie Lord on a Dragon, 2 Vargeists, and, you know, the Fell Bats. So I'm going to be maneuvering my army around to get far away from these Peasant Bows and try to get towards that Exalted Hero. Meanwhile, the Bretonian army is marching forward. A good call, because the 2 great cannons here will just tear them to pieces, and I believe they are focused on the trebuchet back here, and yes, they are. And you see the Empire is going to march forward to meet them in the field of battle. Look at that puppy. I'm going to name you Fluffy in honor of the campaign I played with the Vampire Counts. Fluffy and Fluffy Jr. Here we go. The Fell Bats are going in. They did get hit by some of the axes on the way in. I just wanted to tie him down. Then we're going to send our Vargeists. And then I'm going to send the Fell Bats off to clean up the field trebuchet. I just want to make sure that this Exalted Hero can't really fly away. And now we're going to send in our Terrorgeists. Now we'll eventually send in the Vampire Lord. And then these Vargeists as well. Meanwhile, we are getting hit by the throwing axes, but I'm not too concerned about them. Fell Bats are into the trebuchet crew. There's not too many units nearby, so I feel like we can do a lot of damage before anything respawns. Meanwhile, over here, we're about to have an infantry line clash of spears, halberds on spears. Great Cannon is targeting those Knights of the Realm, which I think is a good target. And just like a perfect line here for both sides, like perfectly even in terms of numbers. Then over here, our Terrorgeist and Zombie Lord are trying to finish off this Exalted Hero, while our Vargeists are being kind of sent away because the throwing axes started to do a lot of damage. So I wanted to get away from them. We have reinforcements of man-at-arms here on the flanks to fight against these halberds. The Chaos Warriors are marching towards my army here. And one of the great swords are being sent over while they're being peppered by Peasant Bowman fire to get a flanking on these Chaos Warriors. Here comes Fluffy. And then here comes Kolek. The Exalted Hero is starting to run away because they've just incurred a lot of losses, or a lot of hit point loss. There's Fluffy Jr. Some Graveguard getting in here. I'm getting our Spearmen in position to try and protect our rears from the Chaos Knights that are ripping around the flanks, but their goal is going to be these Great Cannons back here. Here comes the Vargeist, and our Fell Bats are into these Peasant Bows to try and shut them down. There's the Empire Lord leading his troops against Bretonnia. Over on the right, we have a battle between the King and these Demigryph Knights. The Knights of the Realm are kind of they just got shot up a lot. I don't know, I maybe missed a charge of Demigryph Knights against Knights of the Realm. I don't believe the cannons did that much damage to them. Maybe they did. Meanwhile, over there, our Zombie Lord and Terrorgeist are now into Kolek Suneater. I'm trying to get him off the battlefield before he can cause too much damage. As far as the Chaos Warriors are concerned, I'm pretty confident that our Graveguard with Great Weapon and Fluffy Jr. can handle them, because the Fluffies are also anti-armor, so they are really good at chewing through Chaos armored units like the Chaos Warriors. Over here, the Trolls got into our Spearmen, and I'm actually pulling them back. I don't think I noticed the Trolls because they were in the forest. But there we go. They're going to be fighting it off with the Chaos Trolls. Chaos Knights are coming in behind to lend support against Kolek, or with Kolek. There comes a Terrorgeist and our Zombie Lord for another charge. Bretonnian is sending some Man-at-Arms and Spear reinforcements to try and shut down the Fluffies. There comes some more Chaos Warriors who wrapped up our zombies on the left flank there. Fluffy's just looking at them like food. Over here, the Vargeist are still terrorizing the Peasant Bowmen. Empire Lord is routing some of the Bretonnian infantry, and then on the right flank, the King is now against this Light Wizard, who unfortunately I don't think knew what was happening, and got brutally almost destroyed. Basically destroyed by the King. Paladins trying to do what they can against these Demigryph Knights and the Empire Halberds. My Vargeist is just going to continue to chase off the Peasant Bows at this point. The other Paladin leading a pretty good charge against these Spears, keeping these Men-at-Arms in combat. A beautiful lightning spell from Kolek Suneater, dropping on the middle of my Graveguard. It was a very nicely put spell. I had to pull out Fluffy because he was taking too much damage, so I'm going to have to rely on their regeneration to get them back up to full strength. There are a lot of spears with the Bretonnians here and a lot of halberds. But this Fluffy is just going to stay the line. Meanwhile, the Spearmen, they are anti-large, but the thing is, these Trolls are armored as well, so they did okay against Chaos Trolls, but they will lose against them one-on-one. Kolek Suneater at this point is routed from our Terrorgeist and our Vampire Lord, so I'm just going to chase him down with the Terrorgeist to try and finish him off. My Vargeist are still terrorizing and shattering the Bretonnians back here, and most of the Bretonnian forces in this place have been taken out, but there is still a Paladin leading the Man-at-Arms over here, but we do have Demigryph Knights and other Imperial infantry nearby who are going to head actually over here, I believe, to deal with these Knights. We're taking care of this Greatsword. Fluffy is doing what he can against these Trolls. Both of these units have pretty low leadership, so I think they are both, yeah, you can see they're both really low fighting each other, but I believe the Chaos Trolls are going to break first. Meanwhile, Fluffy Jr. is still holding on strong with the Graveguard back up against these Bretonnians and Chaos Warriors. We have a Curse of Years being dropped by a Vampire Lord, lowering everybody's attack in this area by 34, and also their speed. And there we go, the Armored Trolls are going to break from Fluffy. The King got into our Zombie Lord, and I didn't even really notice that it was the King until my Zombie Lord was almost dead. The King is such a strong combatant, even just mounted on a horse. He is really scary, so I'm trying to pull our Vampire Lord out of here at this point. And I'm going to be just mass selecting these units to try and pin down the King, because I need to get up in the air immediately, or else I'm going to die. So that's why you see all these units just pounding on the King. And luckily they do keep him busy enough so I can get into the sky and into relative safety. Over here, Paladin and some Bretonnian Men-at-Arms are going to try and wrap up these Halberdiers and this Handgunner. We do have units coming back from routing. And this fight over here still rages on with Fluffy and the Greatswords against Bretonnia and the Chaos Warriors. Second Fluffy has regenerated a little bit after the fight with the Armored Trolls. It's coming back. Oh my god. Power of the Fluffy. They should just rename this unit to Fluffy, really. Let's be real about it. Over here, my Vargeist were trying to do what they could against these Throwing Axe Marauders. It's a fight that the Vargeists are going to do generally okay at, just because they are squishy targets. My Vampire Lord, I believe, is just flying around. Where are you? There you are. Just trying to take out some routing units to make them shatter at this point. My Terrorgeist, for the last couple minutes of this battle, was chasing off that Exalted Hero who didn't end up routing off the field. And then I also chased that off and then Kolek off with the Terrorgeist, so I'm going to send him back into the fight. And you can see we have routed the bulk of the infantry that was over here. Right now I'm pulling back because we did take a lot of damage and almost dead again. So I'm going to just save up my Winds of Magic to cast an Invocation of the Heck on the Vampire Lord. As our fluffies were chasing off some more infantry, I'm going to pull them back. I don't want them to get separated too much. Over here, the Bretonnians who are rallying are trying to, I believe they will march this way to try and get towards the other infantry clump over here. Still have some Chaos Knights in the back. The Imperial Lord is still alive and pretty healthy. 2 Demigryph Knights are still around. We have the Great Swords, some Halberdiers. And right now we are just trying to kill the King and trying to pin him down to keep him away from the infantry over there. But unfortunately the King will get out of that engagement, and so I'm just going to let him go. There goes the Invocation of the Heck on our Vampire Lord, so he's going to be able to get some health back, which will mean he is able to fight a little bit more. Over here the Chaos Knights have decided to charge. I believe they charge each other here. And the Demigryph Knight reinforcements are coming in. I'm going to be sending our Zombie Lord over here to try and deal with the Chaos Knights as well. Because now he has some health, so I feel pretty safe in running down some Knights. These cannons are so annoying. Look at this. Look at how they stop the Chaos Knight. They're so annoying. They're just little walls on the battlefield. So I'm trying to pin them down, and the Demigryph Knights are going to come again. We're going to continue chasing for a little bit longer. And you can see now the armies are kind of just matching up to fight one more time. One last battle for this already pretty long battle as far as Warhammer goes. Most of the battles last pretty quickly, but this one was really good, and now we're into the final stages here. I did try and chase this Paladin a little bit to try and kill him before he reached his group over here, but I decided to pull off because I didn't want my Terrorgeist to get tied down by these Marauder Horsemen and then killed by spears. I'm going to do a quick charge on these Spearmen, and then we're going to pull out again for the same reason. I don't want to get him tied on the ground. My Vampire Lord managed to get a couple more kills, and we're going to pull him back to the infantry line there. And there we go. Our Terrorgeist made it out before it got pinned down. Some throwing axes getting thrown, but not too concerned about those. Right now, the Fluffies are licking their wounds and currently regenerating back up towards full. So this kind of standoff right now is really good for the Vargulfs. And the Terrorgeist, if it was injured, because it also has regeneration. But we're going to start marching out of the forest and heading towards what remains of our enemy's infantry. Terrorgeist gets a quick charge on these Marauder Horsemen who were too close. They're going to be run off. I cannot abide this. So you can see, because my Vampire Lord was able to get into combat with those Knights, and he wasn't really being attacked, he was just getting free hits. One of his passives, I forget what it was called, Hunger for Blood or Blood Hunger or something like that. Whenever he's in melee combat, he regenerates health, so that's why he's back almost up to like 40%. And here we go. The armies are looking at each other. Bretonnians holding the front line bravely because they have charged defense against all. We have the Chaos Warriors behind him. Paladin nearby, as well as the King. Where is the King? There he is. Marauders on the flank trying to throw into my Terrorgeist. Here comes the Imperial Lord. Fluffy Jr. King is going to charge Fluffy Jr. I have Graveguard on the way to support them. But due to the losses previously incurred and just the fact that we have terror and fear in the area, the leadership of the Bretonnians and the Chaos is just not going to be able to hold up. Even with the king in combat, they are going to break. Again, because terror and fear, it's what the vampires do, so that did not help the leadership at all. But overall, that was a great game. Not many games I play end up where there's been a massive battle, brutalized, losses everywhere, and then you meet up for the final, the final clash. That rarely happens in this game. So it was really fun. Good game to my opponents and my ally for that one. It's a blast. Let's check the kill counts. Vampire Lord netting 60 kills. Hey, 5 kills on the zombies. I'll take it. The Skeleton Spearmen did what they were there to do. They were a roadblock to protect the rear of our Graveguard. That was basically all they were there to make sure that my Graveguard weren't going to get charged by Chaos Knights for as long as possible, or those Armored Trolls. And so they did their job pretty well. The Graveguard did excellent when they were thrown up against Chaos Warriors. That's one of their ideal targets. The Fellbats got 28 kills. That was mostly against the Trebuchet and some Peasant Bows before they were finally murdered. I think the Vargeist did exceptionally well against the Peasant Bows and Marauders and just units here and there. My Terrorgeist only netted 9 kills, but it did a lot of damage to Kolek and the Exalted Heroes, so I think it was more than worth it. And the Puppies, Fluffy and Fluffy Jr., also exceptionally well. For Heisen here, we have King Loon with 23 kills. Some of those were against the Demigryph Knights, so that's really good. Paladins, I think, did really well. The Spear line and Men-at-Arms line did really well. Peasant Bows. I tried my best not to give them enough time to rack up a ton of kills, so I tried to shut them down, and I did with my Vargeist and my Fellbats. Otherwise, they would have gotten a much higher kill count. Trebuchet was shot down by the Great Cannon and the Fellbats, so it didn't have much time to actually rack up a lot of kills. It did do some damage, though. And the Knights of the Realm were, unfortunately, I believe, shot up by the cannons as well. So, but the rest of the Bretonnian army did really well. For the Chaos here, Kolek still netted 53 kills, even under the constant attack of a Terrorgeist and my Zombie Lord. He did not care. The Exalted Hero still managed to get 10 kills, probably just against the Fellbats and the Vargeist. The Chaos Warriors, I think, some of them did pretty well, but they were up against a very tough foe for them. 2 Vargulfs and 2 Graveguard with great weapons is going to be tough for the Chaos Warriors to deal with. Chaos Knights, though, did really well. The Marauder Horsemen, I think, got a lot of kills considering what they are, and the Chaos Trolls also did really well. For my ally here, we have 82 kills on this general. That's really good. Spearmen did really well. Halberdiers did really well. I'm not sure what shut down this greatsword unit. Maybe the Chaos Knights did, but this one did rather well as well. Said well a lot. Handgunners 20 kills. The Demigryph Knights I think did pretty good, and the Great Cannons got some kills before they were shut down by the Chaos Knights. Overall, I think excellent job from everyone, and a good game to my opponents and my ally. Hope you all enjoyed that one, and I will see you all next time. Have a good day.